Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful. That's you and me, Bruce. And for the faithful. I'm here
That's
today with
everybody listening, David.
that for sure is. I'm here today with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce. How you doing?
Very well tonight, David. How about yourself?
Good. Good. I had a hockey game and I had to leave after the second period when it was 1-1. And of course, right in the dressing room, I checked afterwards and we won our game by a goal. And then just, it's always I said, yes, when I saw the score, but I had no idea the dramatic fashion that the Oilers would win that game 4-3 over the Florida Panthers. Let's get right into it because it's late. Two
Mhm.
good things, two bad things, and two numbers, Bruce. What is your good thing?
Well, my good thing was, well, kind of personal that I was actually at this game. Had great seats. So good stuff. Wore my Turtle Island shirt for the occasion
Very
of
nice.
Indigenous Celebration Night. There was a lot going on there. One of my heroes, Chief Willie Littlechild, was involved in the opening ceremonies, and so it was just fun from start to finish. But the finish, let's go directly to the finish. With the game appearing all but lost, with the Oilers down 3-2, 9.6 seconds on the clock, and a face-off in the offensive zone after a couple of really good looks by Zach Hyman in the last minute that didn't go in, and you're thinking it's just one of those nights we're getting goalie again. Because Spencer Knight was terrific, and then out of nothing, they produced off a lost faceoff. They produced the tying goal in no seconds, like 5 seconds off the draw, where uh, the puck got one little bit back by Florida, but Hyman was all on it, and he was able to get it somehow to McDavid, and McDavid was somehow able to whirl around and find Evan Bouchard. It was like he knew exactly where he was going to be because he put it right on his tape, and Bouchard wasted no time at all and rifled the Bouch bomb, well, not the slapper, but the wrister, top corner to beat Spencer Knight. 4.4 seconds on the clock, and pretty dramatic fashion to at least seal Edmonton's 1 point. Although there was a nervous bouncing shot on net with 1 second left that was not fun by Florida in regulation. Stuart Skinner handled that. And so it went from, the verge of despair to absolute triumph in like no time flat, because the overtime lasted like half of a shift, 22 seconds, and the game was decided in Oilers' favor, and they won the puck off the face-off, or they held the puck, and Florida made a key mistake by Matthew Tkachuk. Darnell Nurse got his revenge on Matthew Tkachuk for something that happened earlier in the game, because Darnell beat a two-man hard forecheck, pressure forecheck by Florida. And when Tkachuk committed to be the second man, and Nurse, Tkachuk lost his balance, and all of a sudden, there's two Florida guys trapped deep with Nurse with the puck and a clean look, and Draisaitl and McDavid behind everybody but the defenseman. And Nurse made an excellent stretch pass up to Draisaitl. He fed it over to McDavid. McDavid corralled it and fed it back. Both passes were slightly tipped, so it wasn't like easy peasy for the guy on the receiving end. But McDavid got it back to Draisaitl. Was deflected, and it was kind of wobbling in behind him, so he had to reach a little bit and just lifted in off the near side post and into the netting on a well executed 2-on-1 to finish the game, and the place exploded again. Like on both goals, the place went nuts. It was great.
Worth the price of admission. Admission's quite pricey, but
Well,
you know what?
for me, it sure was.
When you invest that amount of money in season tickets like people do, it's nice to see them rewarded. I know the hardcore people who really support this team with season tickets. To be live at a game like that, it's
Yeah.
just such a feeling of euphoria. That's what keeps people coming back.
hmm
And it was fantastic to see Kachuk wipe out on that overtime goal. It was
Oops.
fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic. Was he listening to the
I
crowd
was,
then, I
I was
wonder?
going to say I got one gesture for Matthew Kachuk. What do you got to say now, Matt?
Indeed. The
He
end.
was lost on Turtle Island, David.
Indeed. Yeah, thinking below it. Is there anything below Turtle Island? Anyway, Bouchard, it's just so great to see him play with confidence. And I think we saw that all game. He seemed like a different player again, just slinging the puck around. And I thought Philip Robury had quite a good game when he didn't play a lot, but he had one bad shift, Robury. But other than that, I thought he was solid enough in his 11 minutes of ice time. But Bouchard, he's such a fine hockey player. He's so smart and good with the puck. And to see him get a goal like that, like, coming off 2 goals, that guy should. There's no reason Evan Bouchard can't be putting up 50, 60-point seasons in the NHL consistently. And I think we're going to see that eventually, maybe not this year because Tyson Berry's still playing ahead of him on the power play. But man, did he nail that shot. He just top shelf where mama keeps the cookies, as the
That's the only
legendary.
place to beat Spencer Knight tonight. He was so good
Yeah.
along the ice with his pads.
Yeah.
I mean, ask Jessica Pugliarvi about that. But there was guys that they just couldn't beat him low. But that shot was put in a good spot. Yeah, it's funny about Bouchard. Like I've said on this podcast more than once, I anticipate him to score 10 plus goals every year. Like, I think he's that kind of an offensive player that you can probably expect 10, 12, 15 goals from the guy. And I mean, there will be ups and downs, but he had 0 after 20 games. And now after 22 games, all of a sudden he's on pace for 11 goals.
Well,
So
there you
just
go.
like that, he's wiped out the deficit. And he's sort of, where you expect him to be, 3 goals in 22 games. I'd rather have 5, but he's all of a sudden he's producing. And the case can be made the Oilers would have had 0 points from the last 2 games without Evan Bouchard's goals.
Yeah, his lightning hockey stick. Yeah, he is a tremendous, tremendous talent. Some people were down on him and saying, "Oh, look, he's shooting into the shin pads again and again and again." I mean, had they forgotten the entire last season where he was consistently putting hard shots on net? I mean, it was a matter of confidence where he wasn't moving his feet and wasn't with his head up enough in terms of making plays, and confidence comes and goes for
Mm-hmm.
players.
Young
And
players
especially,
especially.
and I think on this team, it's a particularly struggle. When you're playing with McDavid and Draisaitl, these are two supremely confident players, and it's a impossible standard, high standard setting in terms of offensive plays. And I think it's kind of intimidating then to have your own offensive game almost going. Like, you really got to be confident in yourself to try to live up to them when you're on the ice and finish off their plays. You just have to really just go for it. It takes a while, I think, for some of these younger guys to do that. Bouchard did it. We're seeing Pugliarvi, I think, struggle with his confidence, and it's been an ongoing issue with Jesse Pugliarvi. I think a confidence issue playing with these guys. It's not easy, but Bouchard got it done tonight. Bruce, my good thing
Yeah.
is the play of Zach Hyman. I just thought he was fantastic from start to end of the game. He really is the hustler in chief, for the Edmonton Oilers. It's just a human pinball, unbelievable ability to win the puck, protect the puck, forecheck. He has been the Oilers' most consistent player. I mean, with McDavid and Draisaitl, it's hard to say he's been their best player,
Right.
but he has been outstanding. He's playing at an all-star level all year long, and tonight we saw that again. His heads up stretch pass to send to McDavid on that breakaway to tie the game 1-1. Like, it's the Oilers are again, they're down off the start of the game, and we're getting that sinking feeling, and they just needed that play. They were desperate for that play, and he made it. He read it. There was no hesitation, fired that puck, hit him right in stride, and McDavid went in there with a absolutely spectacular finish. He was in on 2 more goals. I mean, though, the puck, it's the third period, and this is when it's 1-1. The Oilers are putting some good offensive zone pressure, and Draisaitl, I think, gets the puck over to Kulak, who puts the puck at net, and there's Hyman again going to the net, getting a stick on the puck to deflect it, and it goes over to Tyson Barrie, who jams it in. Just another real hustle, hard-nosed hustle play. And it's interesting for a hard-nosed player, like a player who goes to so many hard spots as Hyman, he doesn't take a lot of punishment. He's like a boxer who's kind of there's this clip of Muhammad Ali, someone's raining down punches on him, like 15 punches in 9 seconds, and Ali ducks every one of them. That's kind of Hyman in the corner. He's often missing hits and missing contact. I don't think he takes a ton of punishment, and he doesn't hit a lot either. He uses his body to good effect to gain position and win pucks. Then on the winning goal, there he is again, using his
on the tying goal.
On the tying goal, 3-3 goal. There he's off the face-off and finding a way to win that puck to pry it away from the other team, and McDavid gets it, of course, and does what McDavid does. He McSelfishly passes it over to Evan Bouchard, who slams it in the net. I'm making fun there of Stan Fischler. Stan called McDavid McSelfish, but he said
he's heard whispers from Alberta that they're calling him McSelfish. Have you ever heard that name?
I've never heard Stan or anyone call McDavid McSelfish. It's funny. Like, Stan is a brilliant troll. He trolled the Oilers. He trolled the Oilers throughout the 1980s. He was, he got under our skin consistently. Yeah. And there he was again before the last game, speculating on McDavid, whether he's gonna live up to his McSelfish billing, which some people are whispering about. Again, I don't know where that comes from.
Any of the people I know.
No, I haven't even on Twitter. Like, if you Googled McSelfish, would there be any reference to it at all?
Yeah, Stan Fischler's tweet.
Anyway, McSelfish, he had a couple nice assists there tonight on the tying game-winning goal. So, but Zach Hyman, they had him on the top line. It's when they put Zach Hyman on that line that line came alive and really became effective. He is a tremendous hockey player, and he's got a number of years left on his contract. He's in his early 30s already. Hopefully, he can continue this on, through the life of this contract. Some players are able to do that. Even players who play kind of a bit of a rough and tumble game. A lot of it comes down to luck with injuries. But so far, so good. He has been a spectacular signing for the Edmonton Oilers. Absolutely spectacular. And showed again tonight that he's worth every penny and $2 million or $3 million a year more than he's getting.
Well, he'll get those millions at the other end of the contract. So, he's just front loading his portion of the.
That's right. Fair enough.
$41 million contract, or whatever the heck it is, $38.5 million contract. So he's putting in a couple of $8 to $10 million seasons up front.
Let's remember that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What's your bad thing?
They're paying him. The reason they gave him the term at that cap hit was they wanted the value at the front end when they have the big players, and that's so that's what he's delivering. My bad thing? Well, I got to pick Zach Hyman. And specifically, just one play that he made that I thought was well, it didn't end well. Let's put it that way. This was the 2-2 goal. The Oilers had finally pulled ahead in the third period, 2-1. The clock had wound down to under 10 minutes. And Hyman had already had a pretty long shift out there. I don't know exactly how long it was. And his line mates, at that point, McDavid and Draisaitl were changing out. And Hyman took the puck up the right wing, just inside the blue line of the Florida end. And I'm going for my seat. Just get it deep, and get off for your change. And he took the puck to the wall just inside the blue line, and he fought off one, then two, and eventually three Florida players while he sort of held the puck along the wall. His two new line mates by then have already come out and joined him in the Florida zone. I'm thinking, well, he got away with it because he was able to hold it long enough for his mates to get in there. The trouble was, they got all the way in there, and he was still out there on the far wing a long way from his bench. And he goes down, he gets up, he tries to get off. There's a Florida guy that's kind of in his way that he has to skate around him, and he lumbers off to the bench. And all of a sudden, that right wing is wide open. And there's one pass up the wing, and it's a 3-on-2. And Florida executes the 3-on-2 perfectly, and the puck's in the net. And I just thought it was just the fundamental decision there was the old adage, get pucks deep. Well, that puck did not get deep. And if you get the puck deep and you turn and make your change, and your two new line mates are coming into the zone towards the play, it's kind of all under control. Whereas in this case, his line mates were already in there. They got caught. He got caught. And the Oilers' two defensemen wound up having to defend the three Florida forwards, and they made a great play. I mean, credit to Florida for how they put that one away. But it was, to me, the fundamental mistake was the decision right at the beginning.
You know, I agree. Hyman was at fault on that goal, Bruce, but I didn't like Nugent Hopkins or Barry on that play. Mm-hmm. They got aggressive. They got playing high up. Nuge got beat in the neutral zone on a pass. And that's what creates the 3-on-2. At that point, it's 3-on-3. He's back, and he gets beat in the neutral zone with the pass. Instead of coming back and checking, he's trying to pick it off. And then Barry is up high, and instead, like, he's got to recognize, okay, now we got a 3-on-2. Now we're in trouble. He's playing up high at the blue line, and they beat him on the pass. Like, instead of backing up, playing it conservatively, he's pretty aggressive there, and he gets caught out. I think Kulak got caught in a really tough spot.
Yeah,
as they were passing.
It was essentially a 2-on-1 on him by the end
correct.
of that, wasn't it?
There was little he could do. It's like a back pass and then over. Like, I don't think Kulak could have done anything. But I think if Nuge and Barry had made better reads and more conservative defensive plays, that's not a goal. So I agree. Hyman is also to Hyman. I agree with your assessment. Everything you said, that's bang on about Hyman, but there's two other players there who might have done otherwise on that play as well. My play, Bruce, is a similar one where one player really stood out. It is like the Oilers at the start of the game. It is a freaking horror show. It is a nightmare what's going on with this team. And you have, when the first goal against is scored, like, all their best players are out on the ice. It's the McDavid line, and it's CC and Nurse, and they just start losing battles in their own zone. They're kind of out of sync. They're not really hustling. They're not really in the game. And CC comes way out to the point, and someone lobs the puck back into the slot. I don't know what Nurse was thinking, honestly, in this play. It was just one of those things where maybe he's caught between and betwixt. Is that the saying? Like, why not play it with your stick? Like, he should be aware there's really no one else around him. There was two Florida players deep there, but no one was around Darnell Nurse, and he decides to go down and block it with his shin pad. Why? Like, there was no reason to do it. He just had to shoot the puck in the corner, like shepherd it into the corner, or
let it go.
Let it go.
There's nobody behind him.
Do anything. But he decides he's going to try to block it with his shin pad, and it goes right to Matt Tkachuk, who's taking the play. Bang, gets into that. So that was I imagine, I wasn't on Twitter then, but I imagine if there's people who are critical of Darnell Nurse, that they were out in full force at that moment. And honestly, so was I. I was thinking, like, what are you doing, man? Like, and I'm sure he was as mad as anyone on earth about his own mistake. It was a bad mistake. In some ways it's just one of those things. It's just like a fluke mistake, because it's like the puck he makes kind of a little bit of a weird play, and then the puck takes a really terrible bounce. So it's hard to it's hard to, like, if we're being completely irrational, it's like, okay, these things happen. That's okay. Like, regroup. At the same
Mm.
time, this is this horrible recurring movie. He's been in the middle of it a number of times, and it's like, enough, enough.
In my opinion, Darnell spends too much of his games playing on one knee, going
Yeah.
down or trying to play low to the ice and take as wide a stance as he can. I kind of understand the rationale for it, but it doesn't work. Uh, because what he does in the process is he immobilizes himself, and his feet are among his best attributes. Well, it's pretty hard to skate when one of your toe caps is on the ice because you're down on one knee trying to block a lane. The other guy moves 2 feet, and all of a sudden the lane is over there. How are you going to block that lane? You're stuck over here on one knee. So it's I've never really understood, and it's become more a part of his game, like he's Alan Stanley of 1966 or something, and it's it, I mean that's personal preference, and he likes to play the game obviously that way. And there are plays that he cuts out. I just don't like the percentages of how many of those get cut out. And that one was, I mean, let's play this one super safe. Slow puck into the corner. Kachuk was behind me. I don't think he quite knew where he was, but Kachuk had actually looped around to the other side of the net. And sure enough, the puck goes off of Darnell and right to Kachuk. If he just even let it go and chased it into the corner, it was no trouble. And it just turned nothing into a goal. Like I texted to you in the scoring chance summary, I'd rather Nurse had just intercepted that shot and turned and fired it into his own net, so Kachuk didn't get credit for the goal. I mean, geez, talk about adding insult to injury. So anyway, as already mentioned, Nurse got the last laugh on Kachuk on the game-winning goal. So much is forgiven, Darnell.
Much is forgiven. Much is forgiven, indeed. All right, let's go to our numbers, Bruce. What's your number?
My number is 6, and that is the number of players on the ice at one time in the first period who were all graduates of the Bakersfield Condors and had all been trained at the AHL level by Jay Woodcroft, who, of course, has also graduated from the Bakersfield Condors. And those 6 were, of course, the netminder Stuart Skinner, the defense pairing of Philip Brobery and Evan Bouchard, and the forward line of Brad Malone with Dylan Holloway and James Hamblin, who was playing his first NHL game and acquitted himself very well indeed. And I noticed that combination of players early in the game. Hey, I went, hey, look at, this is Brad Malone. He doesn't really fit in the group in the sense that he's a graybeard and the rest of them aren't. But he was Jay Woodcroft's captain in Bakersfield. And he was one of the guys, James Hamlin was another, who actually was on an AHL contract, who earned, or in Malone's case, re-earned an NHL contract. And boy, on that shift, they had such a good play. Dylan Holloway made a fabulous play to keep a puck in with his glove at the blue line, somehow chip it through traffic to Hamblin. And Hamlin took it down the left wing wall and then fired a cross ice feed to Evan Bouchard, who blasted one of his many shots on net that Spencer Knight was able to keep up with. It was a real pretty play, good hard-working play, good pass, good shot, and all of this from guys that in the past 1 to 2 years had been down in the system. And I'm trying to think, when was the last time they always had everybody on the ice who came up, through that system. So that just struck me. All 6 guys. So that's my number.
Yeah, they were in on another grade A chance. Bouchard and Holloway. Holloway got a shot. Bouchard took an outside shot, and Holloway, I think, maybe got I'm not exactly sure. This is early in the second period. Anyway, so Holloway's coming on. Bouchard's
really
coming
skate,
on. He can
Holloway.
really skate. He's a player. Like he got about 10 minutes tonight. I think he's gonna. he's starting to come on, and he's going to, I hope, earn more, started getting up 11, 12, 13, 14 minutes a game. Hamlin, that was a very fine play that Hamlin made, that pass to Bouchard. It would have been nice if he had scored. Bruce,
Did
my
Hamlin
number.
make any mistakes in this game? Like, to
Nope.
me, he just seemed to
No.
be doing the right thing
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. Maybe there's
Very,
maybe we'll
very
see.
impressed for his first NHL game.
Yeah.
Nice work.
My numbers. My number is 11, and there's 2 reference points for 11. That's the number of shots at net for Evan Bouchard. He had 1 missed shot, 3 block shots, and 7 on net. 7 on net, including the game tying goal. Fabulous game tying
Good
goal.
with that ratio.
Yeah, and we also 11 is also the number of grade A major contributions to grade A scoring chances from McSelfish. So what a game Connor McDavid had. He we don't mention him enough, I don't think, in some ways,
Yeah,
Bruce,
I
on the
agree.
podcast. I'm often, but the goal that he scored coming in there he just beat Knight who had looked so good throughout that game. Spencer Knight looked fantastic, but McDavid just totally made him look like a peewee goalie. Just just beat him glove side with that backhand shot. Brilliant. McDavid's pass on the winning goal, the tying goal, and then the winning goal. Just what a fantastic. We are so lucky, and so 11. He makes about between 6 and 7 major contributions to grade A shots per game. So this is about double his season average. So he had a 9. I'd give him a 9. I don't know what Kurt gave him. I would have given him a 9, I think. Let's just check what Kurt gave him here. But he had 1 McDavid of a game. He after a fairly not such a great game, the last game, he just really put on a show tonight for the hometown fans. And people have been talking about how the Oilers have been coming on and getting a little better, playing better defensive hockey. It was nice to see them. Kurt gave him an 8. It was nice to see them win this game. The Oilers really deserve this victory. The Oilers had 21 grade A shots to 13 for Florida. They had 15 5-alarm shots compared to 9. So the Oilers should have had 5 goals just on 5-alarm shots, and then maybe another goal. Their expected goals according to us were like 6.2 or so, and Florida's would have been about 4. So this was a pretty high flying affair, with both teams getting lots of great scoring chances. But the Oilers were the much better team overall and deserved that victory entirely. So, way to go, Edmonton Oilers.
I was quite despondent as the game was winding down, and it appeared that the Oilers would come out of that effort with nothing, like not even a Batman point.
Yeah.
I mean, 9.6 seconds left, and a face-off. So the odds makers that put the chances of winning at that moment would surely have been in single-digit percents, and they were able to pull it off. I'm just looking up what did they have for all situations for expected goals tonight, and they had it at 3.8 for the Oilers and 3.3 for the Panthers.
Yeah.
And they had high dangers at 18-14 Edmonton, and scoring chances at 40-28 Edmonton, exact same as shots. And, Edmonton had the substantial advantage, 58, 56, 59, 59, 56% right across the board in all these categories again. And it just didn't seem fair that they come out with nothing. But in the end, justice prevailed, at least I think on this night. And we didn't even mention the way one play where Hyman scored, but the goal got overturned because he did, in fact, have a kicking motion on the rebound, but have a great chance where Draisaitl had batted a puck down out of the air and got it to McDavid. And McDavid behind the back, right to Hyman, walking in alone on Knight, and he tried to deke him and couldn't beat him low until he kicked in the rebound. But just those guys were producing a lot of quality chances, all three of them really.
Yeah, so the Oilers are now 12-10. Of course, they don't have any loser points, so they're struggling a bit in the standings.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the same number of wins as LA and 2 less games.
Right.
But they're 3 points behind because LA's got 3 loser points. So
not too many teams with double-digit regulation losses, and that's what's hurt the Oilers. And this was the first game. These 2 games now were the first games since November 1st where they got points from 2 consecutive games. Like every single win had been followed by a regulation loss. So they never got anything going for the entire month of November until now, finally, right at the end. So this is 2 very sort of unlikely wins, but to put them back to back like this is a promising sign of maybe it's time for some kind of run. Player shortage be damned. They still got the big guys.
Yeah, well, and some players like if Hamblin and Benson, who's yet to play, and Holloway can step up, and a number of other players can step up. Maybe Janmark, Costin, if these players can play. I like Janmark's play, although he's not yet scoring. I think he's a really effective.
Makes some smart plays,
eh? This isn't the drop off isn't that great. I mean, Yamamoto wasn't playing that well, of course.
Yeah.
Fogle finally had his game together, and then he went out. McLeod was finally flying, and he went out. So, and Kane's obviously a huge loss. So, yeah, the wingers, they are losing some forwards here. But Kane's the only long-term injury, as far as I can tell. Hopefully, Yamamoto, when he does come back this time, will be 100%, or close to it. Will be good to go because he sure wasn't the last time he came back. Bruce, let's leave it there. Let's move on to the next game. Thanks for talking tonight.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.